studio. Well, this morning, one of South Africa's leading mindset coaches is in the building, Quinton Sanders. Quinton is known for turning average, everyday people into goal-crushing winners. I want to be a goal crusher. So I'm hoping that this morning Quinton is going to help us to be able to stick to our goals. Good morning, Quinton. Early riser.
Morning, how you doing?
I was honest with you.
I
I
know.
had a bumpy start. Getting into the building has not been easy with my access card not activating and having to speak to how many security personnel and checkpoints I had to go through. Woo! So yeah, but I'm good.
But you made it.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, all good. Nice early morning this morning. But yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for having me.
So you've spent about 13 years in the corporate field, and corporate is, they say, dog eat dog world. I ran away from it because of that. And I'm suspecting this is where you learned most of your practical lessons when it comes to crushing goals.
Yes, certainly. Yeah, I think the corporate space sometimes gets judged unfairly. If it's not, it's either for you or if it's not for you. I know a lot of my clients are in the corporate space and they get a lot of fulfillment from being in the corporate space. So, but yeah, certainly I learned a lot in the corporate space. But also I had a few business ventures, and here's something interesting is if you want to learn, go and fail. Go and fail as much as you possibly can, and you'll see how quickly you grow and how much you learn very quickly. So I think the lessons and the growth is always in failure. Most people tend to avoid it or try and avoid it, but then what they do is also avoid all the wins. So yeah.
But not only corporate that has taught you to go and fail, and I hear the failing forward because it's a learning rite of passage. In 2022, you experienced a stroke, and it
Yes.
was a life changer for you.
Yes. So that was on the 1st of December last year. Yeah, that was so it was quite an interesting situation because so a stroke, there's no warning sign, right? Literally just woke up that morning. Next minute felt a bit funny, fell over, and yeah, 30 minutes later I was in the hospital and stuff like that. But that shifted me very deeply because when you're not able to communicate, you're not able to talk, you take so much for granted. So the biggest thing that stuck out for me is I've woken up every single morning from that. I've woken up, and when my eyes open up, I know today's going to be a great day, because the fact is my eyes have opened up. So I've got another opportunity. Because it could have gone the other way. So for me, what stood out for it was just gratitude, absolute gratitude. That's why you saw me this morning. I know you mentioned just now, big smile on the face, and
Yeah.
it's because I'm awake. I'm alive. And it's quite an interesting. I actually say to clients and people I speak to, I wish you could have experienced that. I don't want anybody to have a stroke, but what happened, I wish everybody could, because you would be grateful that you can talk, you can walk, you can communicate with other people. Because when you can't, in your brain shuts down, and you can't communicate with people, it is the most helpless, weird feeling you've ever had in your life. So yeah, it's something that shifted me quite deeply in it.
Sure. And all this happens to you. This is what, a couple of 4 months ago.
Yes.
This happens to you at the pinnacle of your coaching, mindset coaching career. It happens. You've got a son. That's very evident because you came in with your
So
son.
sorry, that's actually my nephew.
Your nephew.
It's my
okay.
nephew, yeah. But I've got a daughter that's 14, yeah. So
And the fact that your nephew. So that's where I'm going to. And I
Yes.
say son because I didn't ask. I just assumed.
yes,
But the fact that your nephew is here with you and he looks very young, I mean, he looks like he's a teenager. You can correct me there as well.
no,
But
it is,
the
yeah.
fact that he's here this early morning shows me how inspirational you are, not only on a public platform, to your own family.
So that's it's so interesting that you noticed that, because I wasn't aware of that. Now that now that you've mentioned it, I actually realized that. Yeah, I think here's this thing is if you make things fun, then nothing's really work, nothing's difficult, and it's always about experiences. So I always, even with my daughter or my nephew, it's always about let's have some create some experiences and stuff like that. And when you make it fun, it depends how you communicate it. Okay. If I had to say, listen, we have to wake up at 2:30 tomorrow morning and it's work and blah 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 blah, the way I communicate that could have been really, this is the worst thing to have been done. But because I made it fun and stuff like that, that's why then people tend to join you a lot better or a lot easier, if you make it fun. I always say this to clients or people that I speak to: we got to make it fun. Otherwise, there's no point, really.
We are not in this business of doing live because we are burdened by shackles. We are here to have fun.
Yes.
And every experience must be experienced in a good nature, in a good spirit.
Yes.
Atima, right now I want to hear from you. How easy is it for you to stick to your goals? Are you able to stick to your goals? It's 4 months into the new year. And I know when the year started, everyone had New Year's resolutions. I'm going to do this. I think Zalma had resolutions. Yeah, she says, sure, she did. So Zalma will let us know what her resolutions are. I, for one, there's only one resolution I had. This year, I need to give birth to a healthy baby. That's it. Smackdown. I care about nothing else. Not
Congrats,
losing weight.
by the way, yes.
Thanks. Not losing weight, not gaining weight. But I didn't have anything that's hectic, you know. And I know how tough it is because of circumstances to stick to a goal. So if you at home or at work or driving have had challenges in sticking to your goals and you want to know how to stick to them, or you've won, you've stuck to a goal, you wanted to start saving, whatever it is, share with us, share that experience of you winning when it comes to goal setting and you crushing them, as our leading mindset coach, Quentin Sanders, has stated that we need to crush these goals. We're going to get into the conversation much deeper. Let us know, 0614104107. That is our WhatsApp number. Or you can call in on 086 00032. 0002032. That's the number, 086 0002032, or SMS 41391. This is Wake Up and Live, and our guest is one of South Africa's leading mindset coaches, Quentin Sanders. We are talking about sticking to your goals. What was your resolution? Let the people live. Wake up and live. It is 20 minutes before we reach the top of the hour, 4 o'clock, here on the Morning Bliss in SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Right now, we are having a conversation with one of South Africa's leading mindset coaches, Quentin Sanders. He's told us a bit about himself. I'm inspired by him, his enthusiasm for life, his love for life, and the way he inspires. Trust me, I did say. His smile alone inspired me this morning, because it was a battle to get into the building, but we are here. Remember, just after 4, you can start advertising yourself. Each job. That's what we are doing. We are making sure that we break the cycle of joblessness or businesses that don't have funders. We are opening up that for you as a listener, A-teamer. So send us those voice notes, 0614104107. Current conversation. Are you sticking to your goals? Quentin,
Yes.
Why do we find it difficult to stick to a goal, but easy to set a goal? No matter how big it seems, it's easy to set it. I can tell you now that after delivering this baby, I want to lose 50 kilograms, okay? Because I want to be stick thin. I've set a goal.
Yeah.
But to stick to it, I can't. I'm making plans not to stick to it instead of sticking to it. So why is it so difficult for us?
So I think a lot of times people make decisions or create goals that aren't really their goals. That's the first thing. So the first thing is do you really want to do what you setting out to do with your goals? The other thing that people typically do is they make a decision once to achieve the goal. So that means comes to it's the typical New Year's resolution. I make a decision now. I'm going to stop smoking, or I'm going to start going to gym. What a lot of people don't realize is that decision has to be made every single day. As you don't just make that decision once. So every single day you've got to decide that today I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to go to gym, or whatever the case may be. Um, and a lot of times people don't. This is going to sound almost like something silly that I'm saying, but a lot of people haven't really made the decision. So they've decided they want to do X, Y, and Z, but they haven't really decided. And I think that's something you really got to make a decision, and understand that decision is you have to make that decision every single day. Every single day, if you want to go to gym, every day you have to wake up and say, I need to go to gym, or do the gym thing, or whatever the case may be. So I think the big thing is that you have to decide every day. It's not just a once-off thing. You don't just decide today you're going to get to gym and then that's it, then you're done. It doesn't work like that.
So when I make a decision to set a goal, you are saying to me, every single day I must be actively deciding on it. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a relationship.
A relationship?
Yeah, it sounds like a relationship. Here you are in a relationship with someone. Every day you need to make a decision to love and commit to that person. It is an everyday thing. So our goals, we don't have that sort of relationship with them in general. We feel like they are far-fetched. So we don't have a relationship with them. So it's a relationship, this.
So 100%, yeah. I think another big thing just about goals. I always say a goal is a place to come from, not to get to. And what I mean by that is oftentimes if I speak to somebody, what is the goal? So I also get really deep with the goal is, what does it look like? What does it feel like? So you want to be a successful entrepreneur, or you want to have a six-pack, or whatever it is. What does that feel like? What does that look like? What is the image in your mind? So you got to get really clear on that. And then what we do is we bring that forward. Okay, so a person that has a six-pack or a successful entrepreneur, how do you feel that now? How do you behave? How do you act? Because here's this thing is you don't start acting like a successful entrepreneur once you become successful. It's the other way around. You've got to behave and act the way a successful entrepreneur behaves now. That's how you create it. So a goal is always a place to come from. It's not somewhere to go get to. And if you can understand that, then again, it's about every single day making that decision. And when you feel that, it's also a lot better, because your self-image, or your picture in your mind of who you are, you'll never outperform that image. So that image has got to be very clear. You've got to really see it clearly and feel it. And then you create it from here right now.
So you need to perceive it in order to achieve it.
Yes.
How do you set realistic goals? When it comes to finances, I like to be practical. When it comes to finances, there's no one who says, I want to start saving R5 a day. People instead say, by December, because I want to have a good groove time, I should have R500,000. But they don't say it's R5 a day that they need, if it is R5. So how do we set realistic goals?
So a lot of times when I speak to people, I actually say let's be unrealistic, because a lot of times we create these goals that are very mediocre, and that's why it doesn't inspire us, right? So a lot of times I actually want to do totally the opposite, which is let's not be realistic about this. Let's create something fun and something that's really, that if I had to ask you now, you'd be like, I'd love to do that, but I don't ever see myself, like I can't see it. those are the things that we want to work on. The goals that we know we can achieve and that usually doesn't inspire us much as well. Um, Here's the thing with goals, very exactly what you said now is people underestimate how much they can get done in 3 and 5 years and overestimate what they can do in 3 months. So there's this so here's the thing with that is you mentioned the money thing and that it's so important. I did this thing this weekend or whatever. I host a bingo, okay, once a month for an elderly care center and that started from 2 years ago. I didn't have money to give, okay, and it's that kind of thing of when I make more money, then I'll do this, and then. So it never really comes. What I did was I decided to give some of my time, okay, because I had time. I could do a Saturday morning and stuff like that, and that's where it grew. But I've now built that muscle of giving, and it's the same thing with that with saving. People want to, exactly like you said, they want to try and have R1 million saved by next week Thursday, and if you can't even save R10 a day, you got to build that muscle. The more you build that muscle, then it becomes easier, because it then, I suppose, more commonly known as a habit or whatever the case may be. I call it then it becomes who you're being. Yeah. Because it's a natural thing. Then it's not something that you're not trying to force and trying to be something that you're not. You build that in you, and it starts with the small things. People get overwhelmed, for instance, and the biggest thing that I do when we have overwhelm is just slow everything down.
How? When you're overwhelmed, everything seems to be like in a whirlwind. It's like, oh, this is not working, this is not working, this is not happening, this is not happening, this is not working. It's a whirlwind of, most of the time, negative, false information. So how do you slow it down?
So again, this is going to sound funny, but you make a decision to do that. But here's the thing with the slowing down is you need to know that, and it's a practice. Okay, so when I'm working with clients or speak to people, it's small steps. You do it small step at a time or whatever. It's not just something you decide now and then it's all fixed and sorted. Mm-hmm. So with the overwhelm and that is. Here's the thing with overwhelm. When people are struggling with overwhelm, it's usually because they're not in this moment. They're thinking about, what do I need to do in the next hour, and then 4 o'clock I got to do this, and then I got to do this tomorrow afternoon, and and then you're getting in your own head and you're totally overwhelmed. But the overwhelm is only in your mind. That's the only place where it actually exists. It's in your thoughts. Mm. So the moment we can slow down and just. And I even when I speak to people, I'll actually slow down the conversation with them, and just slowing the conversation down with them will slow them down.
So you take it moment by moment, as opposed to taking everything into one whirlwind, moment by moment. That's how you slow yourself down.
I work with top performers, CEOs, directors, and here's this thing. Most times when we have overwhelm, it's actually overload. Okay, it's not overwhelm, it's overload. You got 50,000 things on your to-do list that you're never going to get through in one day in any case. So you're fooling yourself. Okay, so all we do is I'll break it down and just say, you're overwhelmed. Yes, let's do. What can we do in the next 10 minutes? Well, I could send this email now. Okay, let's do that. Good. Tick. One thing. And when you do that one thing at a time and you just focus on that one thing, I call it being a focused leader. When you're a focused leader, you're totally slowed down. You can't have overwhelm in that because you're just doing one thing at a time. I come from I'm giving my age away, but in the 90s there's this whole thing of multitasking, and the more things you can do, and then you're more on. That is all, it's being shown now that it's actually rubbish, because at the end of the day, you just are doing many things, but just not very great. So slowing down is just doing that one thing. What can I do in the next 5 minutes? Let's slow it down to just focusing. And when you do that, and you do that the whole day, you'll be amazed, because oftentimes when I speak to people and I say, you need to slow down, you have this, certainly when my coach first time 2.5 years ago shared this with me, I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, that I need to slow down because I want to speed up, right? I want to do more. I want to get further quicker.
Is
And
that how you feel you're being productive?
yes, because that's how we think it works.
Yeah.
But when we slow it down, it's not sitting on your backside doing nothing. It's essentially is being in the moment. If you there's that saying of stop and smell the roses and that. It's alluding to that is that we're in the moment. When you're in the moment, you don't have fear because you're not living in the future. You don't have overwhelm because you're not thinking about tomorrow and the next 50,000 things that you need to do. You're only focusing on the next thing, and that's what a focused leader does. A focused leader only does one thing at a time.
I don't know why. For some reason, I'm teary-eyed. I feel like I'm building up tears, because you're crushing and breaking so many things that we thought were true.
Yes.
Like, you must multitask. You must go fast. You must be, Speedy Gonzalez.
Yes.
But it's actually not productive. So I'm feeling teary-eyed because, yes, sometimes you do get overwhelmed.
Yes.
And you overwhelm yourself by not giving you time to absolutely every little detail of what you're doing. Focused leader. I'm underlining that. And I'm taking it on every level. I hope as you're listening this morning, you're not seeing this only for finances or your summer body that you're creating, but you're seeing it for your role in your family, in your community, because that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm teary-eyed. I'm looking at myself, and as you're speaking,
Yeah.
Quentin, I'm thinking about my role as mother, as wife, as colleague.
Mm-hmm.
Am I being a focused leader? Because those are my roles. Am I doing the right thing? And am I slowing down?
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning. There's another problem.
Awesome.
A big problem when it comes to setting goals. And this problem is a problem I've got. I know Benzito's got it. Zama might have it because she's been working on a goal since I've known her. And I have not even seen an action plan, but she's working on it. She's working on it, according to her. It's called procrastination. It's a long word. It's a problem. Why do we procrastinate, and how do we break the cycle of a procrastinator's mindset?
So we've already touched on it a little bit now, and it was the slowing down and that. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with procrastination, and it ties in a lot of times with motivation, right? So I'll speak to somebody, Quentin, I really wasn't motivated this week. So then guess what? Now I procrastinated. I didn't do this, and this. And here's this thing with motivation that people don't, I'll often joke with clients and they'll say to me, yeah, Quentin, this week I just wasn't motivated. I lost, here's the favorite one, I lost my motivation. So I'll joke and say, really, you lost it? Did you look everywhere? Did you look in the car? Did you check at the office? Are you sure you? And then obviously we then have a bit of a smile and stuff like that because it's quite funny and it's actually really that silly. Because we're always motivated, okay? So if you're in bed and you don't get out of bed to get to gym, it's not that you don't have motivation. You do have motivation. It just is that you are more motivated to stay in bed than what you are to get to gym. So it's not that you lost motivation. And that then ties into what you said now with the procrastination is, the procrastination is, the way you get over that is just, what are you procrastinating on? Quentin, I procrastinate on, I need to send these 10 emails, I need to do this, blah, 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 blah. And again, it's starting to go into that thing of slowing down. Okay, you got these 10 things that you're procrastinating on. What can we do in the next 10 minutes or 30 minutes? What of that you procrastinate on can we do now? Well, I can send this email. Okay, let's do that. And then boom. Okay, that's one off. And what happens then is the more you do this, the more you get off that to-do list and that, you find that you procrastinate less because you then realize it's doable and it's not something so big that you just, it's hopeless or whatever. Once you start doing it one little thing at a time, what can I do in the next 10 minutes? And when you do that and you just chip away at it, then that whole procrastination, I often say to people, for me, procrastination doesn't exist. It's just an excuse for us not to do what we should be doing. That's all it is. We just don't do the things that we need to do.
It's like when I have to wake up to come to this shift. It's not easy. That alarm clock goes off, and I'm like, oh, did you really have to go off? I haven't even slept a wink. My body clock is still adjusting, but I make sure that I'm here. I've got an A-team on the line. Nathan, good morning. Hey, I'm strong, Nathan. I'm learning so much. I'm becoming a focused leader. I'm going to live because I've just woken up and I'm going to live because of Quentin Sanders. Do you have a question or comment? Ah, Mr. Nathan, perseverance. I'm
Awesome.
not sure about that playing of lottery because I'm not much of a lottery better. But the perseverance. Quentin, you wanna add on what he said?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for that morning. Yeah, that is 100%. It is. I often say to people is that you got to play the long game. We often look at it. You see, it becomes a patience thing as well. But we expect things to happen in our timeline, right? And if it doesn't happen in the next 3 months, then we get frustrated and we don't understand that actually life is working for us. It's just not working to our timeline. So, but to answer your question, that's awesome. Yeah, persistence is a key thing. I actually did a post a few months ago because after my stroke and that I realized that one of my biggest assets is that I persist. Like I will persist and persist and persist. So yes, persistence is one of the key ingredients for success, 100%.
So Nikki in Mpumalanga says, I am also learning. Our 18 listeners have really enjoyed this time. As we wrap up, what should we do if we are struggling to start?
So here's the thing about starting is just start. That's the thing. Find one small thing that you can start with and do that. Don't worry about looking at the 50,000 things on your to-do list or your goals. Focus on one small thing you can do today and just do that every single day and you'll be amazed where you can end up after 6 months of just doing that every single day, deciding to do one small thing and starting. If you want to start a business, whatever that is, take one step today, just one small thing. Don't have to do the whole business plan and marketing and everything in one day. You can do one thing, and if you do that every single day, you'll be amazed at where you'll end up 6 months, 12 months, 5 years from now.
Focused leaders, just start. Don't be scared to fail. These are things I've learned. Be persistent, perseverance. What can you do in the next 10 minutes? Calm down. Quentin, you
Awesome.
are absolutely amazing. Thank you for helping us to wake up and live this morning.
Awesome.
And I know I would love to have you on the show again and again and again and again because, whoo, what an eye opener.
Awesome, yeah. No, we've only scratched the surface, by the way, as well. So I really appreciate you having me. It's been awesome to spend some time here with you and the listeners. So I really appreciate that as well.
It seems like you are open to coming back. A-teamers, I think Quentin will join us again very soon because we've
Awesome.
only just scratched the surface. How
Yes.
do our A-team listeners get in touch with you if they need some coaching or they just want to follow you on the socials?
Yeah, so my handles are pretty much the same for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's Quinton, Quinton, Sanders, Sanders. My Facebook is Quinton Sanders SA. But if you find, just Google or whatever it is, Quinton Sanders, you'll find my social media stuff, and you can follow me there and connect with me there.
If you want to up your game as a leader in any way, Quinton Sanders is one of South Africa's leading mindset coaches. So make sure you do hit him up. Hey, if you are looking for that job, you need a man like this. Quinton, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.
And to your awesome nephew, thank you very much for joining your uncle. You are wonderful. Grow strong and learn from this man. Get inspired.